Hi there, I'm Angela Brown, and this is Ask a House Cleaner. This is a show where you get to ask a house cleaning question, and I get to help you find an answer. Yay! Okay, so today's question comes from a homeowner who wants to know what is the difference between a spider web and a cobweb. That is an awesome question, and I don't know that I've been asked this question a lot before, but let's take a look at the differences between a spider web and a cobweb. Okay, a spider web is an active web. A spider comes in your house, he spins an active web in hopes that he will catch other bugs. This web is invisible and you cannot see it to the human eye. It is invisible. And it is invisible to insects that get trapped in it. The spider webs are made of silk. The silk is made of protein and they're sticky. And so what happens is airborne dust will stick on those webs. And once they stick on the webs and there's dust on the spider web, it's no longer sticky to attract bugs. And so the spider will abandon that spider web and it now becomes a cobweb. That's the answer. An active spider web is invisible. A cobweb has dust on it. That's the difference. Now, according to the World Spider Catalog, there are 45,749 different species of spiders. I know, that's a lot of spiders, right? They live everywhere, and a lot of them are invisible and you can't see them. You can't see them because they're very sensitive to vibration, and they love to hide because they're going to hide in hopes that other bugs and insects will come into their trap, and then they will leap out, or they will run out, or they will pounce out, however spiders do, and they will wrap up that web and they will eat those insects. That's how they survive. So their survival is in hiding. So if you see a spider out and about, it's usually because it's one of two reasons. It's usually because he's ready to eat something he's caught, or you'll find them near bathtubs because spiders also need water. So they will go down the drains and they will look for water, or leftover water in the sink. They will go in sinks and tubs and toilets and things looking for water. That's when you're going to see the spiders. Okay, so what is interesting about a spider is this. The silk that they spin is very strong and it's very durable. And like I said, it's made of protein. And so there are spiders that at the end of a day, they will eat their own webs to recycle that protein. So they have that protein to spin a new web again the next day. Now, if you've ever been walking through a house and you see a long, skinny strand of cobweb that's just floating in the air and it's not attached to anything, that's probably the beginning of a spider web. And spiders will spin these long strings and then they swing on them all the way across the room and they attach it so they can then build the web. They build the web from the outside in. And so what happens when there is a long strand that's just hanging, it came unattached somehow. And so instead of the spider finishing that, he probably went off somewhere else and built another web. So those are invisible until dust collects on them and then you just run into them and they stick to your face, or you see them and you take them down. There are times in the house cleaning industry where you'll see a whole lot more cobwebs than other times of the year. And chances are if you're seeing them in one house, you'll see them in all the houses. And so we don't do cobweb removal on every single house cleaning. That's more of a deep cleaning thing. But there will be a time where you see a cobweb and you're like, yeah, it's that time of year. Then we grab our long poles that go all the way up 2 stories with the Swiffer duster on the end. I'll put a link to that in the show notes so you can see what I'm talking about. But those will go all the way up to the corners and you can clean all the cobwebs from the tops of the room. And like I said, if you need to do it in one house, you probably need to do it in all the houses. We make jokes at Halloween, like, oh, there are cobwebs everywhere. That's a time of the year when cobwebs are very popular. The weather is starting to change. And so all the spiders come inside and start making nests and things in hopes that they can find bugs that have come in from outside. So the difference between spider webs and cobwebs, a spider web is an active web, and the cobweb is an abandoned web that has dust in it. That's the really big difference. Now, there's also some really great information if you want to learn more about this. That's from the Smithsonian Institute, and I'll put a link to that in the show notes as well. But if you see cobwebs in your house, which you will eventually, just because they happen in every type of home, no matter how clean your home is. The best way to get rid of that is the long skinny pole with a Swiffer duster on the end, or you can use your vacuum with a hose attachment. And you can reach up in the corners if you have lower ceilings And you can collect those cobwebs because they usually hide in the corners of the rooms because they're easy to build the webs from one wall to the next. Anyway, so that's a little bit about spider webs and cobwebs. All right. So until we meet again, leave the world a cleaner place than when you found it.